Greetings, and I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to Global Leadership Perspectives. And I want to believe that this program has been helpful and of great benefit where you are concerned. And if you've been consistent, I want to hope and believe that this kind of program has, in one way or the other, added a lot of premiums where you are concerned, especially in the context of leadership. And if that is the case, I will really be grateful and appreciate God for that. And friends, the other thing that I would like to ask you is to kindly subscribe to this channel. The reason why I would want you to subscribe is that I would want this program to reach as many people as possible. And it is just one way out there to influence societies and to make a difference. So thank you very much, even for considering to subscribe. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for instance, our Kenyan constitution has envisaged a very important component, especially in the new 2010 constitution. In this case, probably it's not new, it's more than a decade. That's sufficient enough to be called old. And there is a chapter there that I believe maybe at some point I'll be able to look at it. But it talks about integrity and leadership. And so this does not apply only to the Kenyan case, rather any kind of leadership that lives in devoid of integrity. I want to believe that it will not really go far, or it will not make really proper use of the opportunity. And so today I want to interact with us about integrity and leadership. And this is a subject that many times we will not want to engage with it, or rather we would want to look at it from peripheral, and because we tend to somehow fear about the responsibility that comes with it. But it is a very important subject. And so, what is leadership? The best way we can define leadership is just in one word: influence. Leadership is all about influence, influencing your sphere, influencing your followers, and just being there and using the kind of the talents and the gifts that God has given to you to influence and to mobilize your followers to a certain direction with specific objectives and goals. And so leadership is all about influence. And then this will lead us to the second question: what is integrity? And I will not want to really give it very, or want to make it look a very complicated thing. In simple term, integrity is all about wholeness without brokenness, or it's something that is undivided. That completeness, that kind of holistic approach where a particular thing is concerned. And so integrity is all about wholeness without brokenness, and something that is undivided. And so as I will be interacting with us, I want to believe that we'll be able to understand it in a more better way. And so integrity is very key because it would help us to either propel our leadership or even diminish our leadership. And this is not just limited to those politicians you are seeing there, the appointed, or I mean the elected leaders. This applies to each and every one of us in our own capacity as leaders. Right from that small unit, family unit, to that larger unit, if you like to look at it from the national perspective or even from the global perspective. And so, when we talk about wholeness and we are talking about something that is undivided, I want us to look at it especially in the context of the leaders, beginning with us and also the leaders we have within our reach. It could be the leaders that are either appointed or we have elected in political position, or even the people that are serving within organizations as CEOs and as directors, as managers, and whichever capacity. I want you to not allow that perspective to escape your mind. And so this is all about character. This is all about character. And because character is all about standards in life, and when I talk about standards, I do not want you to get the picture of financial status or material gain that would give you a particular sense of status or standards in life. But I would want you to look at it in the context of character, in the context of who you are, in the context of how you behave, in the context of your norms, your beliefs, your values, the things that makes who you are, not the thing, not that which not that which or what you have, but the things that make who you are, and not necessarily being characterized by material or finances, but more so in terms of character, in terms of norms, in terms of beliefs, and as we shall be looking at it. And so, a leader whose character is up to standard is a leader whose character is unquestionable. A leader who's, when he stands, and we can indeed credit them, and we can say this one, they are indeed up to standard. Their character is unquestionable, and their character is something that can be appreciated and even recommended without any doubt at all. And so, if we can have leadership of character, even within a political context and even in our organizations and in institutions, I want to believe this will completely make a difference, and even make our organizations and the institutions we are leading to really become more productive and more valued, and at the end of it, not necessarily in terms of even making profit, but in terms of really having a good testimony and making a difference out there. So character is something that indeed we need to take serious, and find a way of embracing it in our given position. And so that's why when we are talking about integrity, and you being in a position of influencing your followers and the people that are around you, it will be very important at this point to ensure that you are working towards your courage, your trust being above reproach, because if your trust is below the given average, or it is tainted, it is not above reproach, then it implies that your character is below the standards, and your integrity will, for that matter, be questioned. And you as a leader, you will not make the most in terms of influencing the people that you are leading, and the kind of the organization that perhaps you are leading. So trust is very important. People need flow. Your followers need to trust you and know that indeed, as a leader, you can be trusted, and they know they can trust you with their lives, they can trust you with their families, they can trust you even with their resources, and they can trust you with all that belongs to them. If you can come to that point and your followers can trust you, and not just trusting you by mere exercise of futility in terms of mere words, but even with their lives and with their families and even with their votes. You know, when people vote for you, it means they are trusting you. And I'm not talking about the stealing and forcing yourself into position of leadership. I'm saying, in a scenario where you have been honestly been voted in and you are a leader, it means these people have trusted you, and that's why they have given you your vote, and you are there to represent them, whether it is in the parliament or in whichever capacity. Now, looking at even our situation in Kenya and the kind of the leaders we have, are they trustworthy? Can we really trust them? Or anytime we sleep and we feel butterflies in our stomach, you know? If that is the case, then something is not right. But if we can have leaders who governs the country, and they do it with high standards, and with the right standing in terms of character, then we can trust them, and this can help even to really increase their influence, and subsequently this will help them to become more effective and more efficient. And so that is very important. And also, when we talk about integrity, we are looking at people who value positive or people who embrace positive values in life, and also in their leadership. We're not just talking about leaders who are there to lead for the sake of leading, people who are just there, for example, to be a president because you wanted power and influence. No, we are talking about people who, because of their positive values they hold, values concerning family, values concerning faith, values concerning governance, values concerning leadership. These are the people that, if they are given opportunity to provide leadership, I want to believe that they will be more effective and efficient, and they will influence the kind of the people they are leading, and for that matter, influence them positively. So values are very important. The things you hold dear, the things that defines you, the things that you hold dear, the things that at the end of the day they will shape your behavior, the things that will shape the way you will approach things, and even will shape and advise even the kind of the laws you're going to enact, or the kind of the policies you're going to formulate, even where government are concerned. By the way, if we had politicians and if we had leaders of value, even when you look at their manifesto, you will see the sense of really values behind the manifesto, and you will say these people for sure they are going to deliver, because they are people that have values in life, values that are very consistent with their life as leaders, not values that today they wake up and say something different, and tomorrow they are saying again completely something else. That is not the case. We are saying, talking about people who really are out there and they want to influence people with positive values and with energy that is positive, that is going to help even build a nation. By the way, just think of this. Even in our country, do we have leaders of value that are driven by values? Or are we having leaders that are driven by high appetite for power and resources, so that they will do anything to either sustain, to get power, or even to sustain it? You know, people that are driven with values, if for example they find them, if they find themselves in a major scandal or in something that taints their country they are leading, they will be obligated to resign, so that they are not in a position of violating their values. They are in a position of really providing leadership in a more sensible manner and in a more valuable manner. We've had some politicians or some people who have said, you know what, yes, we've been found in this problem or in this a character that is not up to standard, and then they'll end up saying, I cannot resign. I rather die than resigning. And you wonder, are these people driven by values? Is it all about power, or is it all about character and integrity? And really, I sometimes have difficulties where this is concerned. When somebody cheats or lies without even blinking an eye, you can even pull a talk where he said something different, now he's saying something different, but if you put this person to task, this person will completely refuse and deny. And so we are saying that these are not the kind of the values we want. Values that under leadership with no, or with values that undermines, because you can have very weird values, but I'm talking about credible, positive values, values that are there to build families, to build a nation, values that are there to bring people together, values that are there to steer ahead the cohesiveness of a country, but not values that are there to divide, values that are there to scheme against others. And that's why sometimes you'll find people, they don't care. You find somebody has billions and billions and billions of money, but this person don't care. The neighbor is completely going without food, but the person is comfortable. I really find that a bit problematic. As much as I know we are highly influenced by capitalism and different status in the society, but I don't think that is a healthy thing that we need to embrace. We need to change the matrix. And so values that are very good, people that embrace values. Now, the other thing that we perhaps can talk about is reputation and image. As a leader, our reputation and our image need to be up to standard, so that when your name is mentioned, we can think of we can think and of somebody whose reputation is up to standard and whose image is up to standard. There are people, if they're mentioned, then you completely see, because if your name is mentioned, and what comes to your mind is to the mind of people is who you are, your norms, your behavior, your character, you see. And if all these are up to standard, people will think about you in a positive way. But if they start thinking of you in a negative way, then you need to think twice and evaluate your life, examine your life, and see the kind of the adjustments that you need to make. So your reputation as a leader, as an integrous leader, is very important. Your image is very important. That's why in some other countries, if your image is tainted, your reputation is not up to standard, then you are not supposed to be holding public office, or to be in leadership, or in a kind of leadership, because already that has tainted your life, and already people will not have confidence in you. And so the question perhaps you need to be asking yourself as a leader: does people have confidence in you by the virtue of your reputation and your image? Does people have confidence in you? Now, let me bring it even close to us, because if for those people, for example, our president, the president of Kenya, when people think of him, do they have confidence in him? In terms of, what about his reputation and his image inspire confidence and even trust? What about even the people that are in government? When people are characterized with corruption, and when people spew venom and toxic statements, how can we say that these people are people of reputation and their image is up to the standards? It beats logic, and it is not possible. And so, integrous leaders are leaders of reputation. Their track record speaks for themselves, and their image is complete, is not in brokenness. And this kind of leaders, if they're leading an organization, they'll make more impact, because people will trust them, and people would want to associate with them in terms of working for them, because they know you mean well, and they can trust you. And the other thing is where leadership is concerned, there is a need even to model this kind of character and integrity we are talking about, before we can have that kind of audacity to expect others to do that, or our followers to do that as leaders. So the best thing is for us to first and foremost model this kind of leaders. When the politicians begin to stand on the podium, and they say, "Oh, do not abuse others," the question is, do they abuse others? Because some of them will say, "Do not abuse others." The following next rally, you will hear them releasing very serious statements that you would not want to hear. And so that is not a good leader that is modeling a good leadership, that is characterized of integrity, values, norms, and behaviors that can inspire grace, hope, and even rally people around you and do the work that needs to be done, so that there could be more production, more efficiency and effectiveness. And so we need to have leaders that are going to model the kind of values, the kind of reputation and image we are talking about. So if you are in that institution and you're a judge, and before you are out there to provide a judgment even on a certain issue, are you yourself up to standard? You are a state officer, and you're given the responsibility to provide leadership. It is required of you to model out, to walk with integrity, and to know that you are a public servant, and or you are public state officer, and all eyes are on you, and so you are not supposed to live a reckless life. And the kind of integrity we are supposed to possess is not that kind of integrity that in the public we try to force ourselves to live a different life that is detached from our private life. Integrity means in the public you're living a straight life, and also in the private, whether you are alone in the darkness, you are also living an upright life. That way you will be consistent. But if you're forcing yourself in the public, you are there trying to do it, and in the private you are forcing, you are doing something different, then at some point the truth will come out and the real self will manifest. And so leadership and integrity is something that is very important. Sometimes we've looked at, even at the track record, we have seen people that are characterized with bad history, but sometimes we will want to at the same time bring these people in leadership and expect that they are going to lead with integrity and they're going to lead with high standards. That cannot happen. It cannot happen. You cannot choose someone who is characterized in his history with lies, characterized with murder, characterized with corruption, with scandals, and you put this person in leadership, and miraculously overnight you want to expect this person to lead a different life. I want to believe it is just a matter of time before this person manifests the real self, and very soon you will really regret about it. And so we do not want, as followers or as a follower or our followers, to come to that level of regret, either because they chose to bring in wrong leaders or they were swindled, and that happened. So we do not want that to happen. The best thing we can do, it is for our good and it's for the good of the people we are leading. Let us live an integrous life as leaders, life that is going to convince others that out of the kind of the life we lead, the kind of the values, the kind of the trust, reputation, image, and the way we are modeling out life, let it be above reproach. Let it be that is going to inspire growth, inspire even our vision, and increase the value of other people, and increase even our leadership premium and even the premium of the people we are leading. Not that kind of leadership that disgruntled people, that kind of leadership that is compactful, that kind of leadership that is really not worthy. And having said that, when I look at even the context of Kenya, there are leaders we have put in place, there are leaders we have elected, and I want to tell you without any fear of contradiction that some of them, it is just a matter of time, but they are going to disappoint you, because when you look at when you analyze and evaluate their life and what they have done before in their leadership position, you will clearly see that they never did anything meaningful, or even walked integrous lives as leaders. And so they will not be different unless they really purpose and they really have that kind of intention to change and to have things be done different. Then that we can say probably there is there is hope. But apart from that, I want to not to sound like a prophet of doom, but these are things out of analysis. We can say that we should not be surprised when we see things happening. For example, when we see leaders asking people to invade others' properties, we should not be surprised. It is not the first time we are seeing them doing that. If you look into their lives, the things they've been doing is not far from that. And so that is only but one of the examples. There are many other examples you can point out, but the climax or the conclusion I can say, leadership and integrity is something that we need to take very serious, is something that we need to embrace, because at the end of the day it is going to help us. And if our motivation is just to get power and perhaps resources, then I believe you'll do anything to do that. But if our intention is to influence the people we are leading through the position and the power we have, then I want to believe that you'll be careful and conscious enough to ensure that the lives of people are changed, transformed, built, encouraged, and there is sufficient development across the country without favor, without nepotism, and without other things that works against the tenets of integrity and leadership. So the King bless you and purpose to be an integrous leader, and this will help you to be more influential within your status or within your sphere of leadership. The King bless you.